Our Vikings channel continues to grow here at Chat Sports, but the vast majority of you are not getting our videos every single day. Less than 13% of you have your notifications set to all, meaning you might not get a push for every single video we do. Maybe it's only one or two a week instead of every video we do here at Vikings Now. Let's get that changed. When you first subscribed, YouTube defaults your notice to personalized as opposed to all. So go back to where you subscribe, click that bell icon, and change it to all. That way you don't miss any video right here at Minnesota Vikings Now. Today's Vikings video is presented by Aura. They offer all-in-one digital safety for you and or your whole family. And they're giving you a free 14-day trial of their all-in-one online safety tool when you head over to aura.com/chatsports. That link will be in the comments section and in the description. Could the Vikings cut Alexander Mattison? Purple PTSD predicted/suggested that Mattison would be a surprise cut before the 2022 season. Mattison's in the last year of his deal. I argue he offers cheap and quality depth at running back, but the Vikings are changing the offense and they've got some more options at the running back position. Here was the main pitch, one of several, but this one I want to focus in on, from Purple PTSD. The running back had his worst year as a Viking in 2021, recording a mere 3.7 yards per carry. Of the backs behind Cook, he does not have the talent as a receiver like Nwangu, Chandler, or Kobach either. He is the prototypical straight line power back. This is something that, in Minnesota's new pass-first offense, doesn't provide as much value as it used to. I'm still going to list Mattison as RB2 until we're proven otherwise. We'll talk about Kenny Nwangu, Ty Chandler, Bryant Kobach. There's also the presence of the four fullbacks. And from a pure speed perspective, there's no doubt that Nwangu, Chandler, and Kobach are faster than Mattison. But the passing value doesn't make sense to me. Now, yes, Mattison's passing game production has not been great in Minnesota, but that was the offense. So their last 2 years of college, here are the receiving numbers for Alexander Mattison at Boise State, Kenny Nwangu at Iowa State, Ty Chandler at UNC/Tennessee, and Bryant Kobach, the UDFA out of Toledo. Survey says, well, Kobach was the most productive by a significant margin. He's also a UDFA not guaranteed to make the roster. Ty Chandler wasn't that productive in the passing game for North Carolina. Frankly, that was one of the biggest concerns. Nwangu's speed is everything. He can be a third down back. He profiles as one. I'm not going to argue too much on that front. But for me, this comes down to Mattison and Chandler because we're not cutting Kenny Nwangu, who's too valuable at minimum on special teams. So because of that, the numbers don't actually bear that out. I think we're conflating speed and third down value. Those two things are not necessarily the same. So what do you want to do with Alexander Mattison? Type D for you want to dump him, or type K for you would rather keep him. Sound off for me in the comments section. Now, this question is going to be the pinned comment, actually, on today's video. So if the ad break comes on YouTube, boom, perfect timing. Head down there and type D for dump or K for keep. For me, it comes down to trade or keep. And I say keep. If I can get a nice trade package, sure. If you think Nwangu and Chandler can handle 2/3 roles, then yeah, you're trading away a depth backup at running back for assets. That's fine. I say keep him. Yes, the yards per carry dipped last year. I think we can put a decent amount of the blame on the running or on the offensive line there because for his career, this has been an over 4.2 yard per carry player. Over 1,000 yards, almost 1,400 yards on 30 career carries, and there have been some third down value. Not a ton of third down value, but it's not like he's the worst third down back. I do think he's better as a more power runner. He doesn't have great top-end speed. But I think the third down value isn't real. I don't fully believe that. Yes, he's been better as a pure runner than he's been as a pass catcher. You can see the last 4 years of both stats here. But I'm not out on Mattison. He does not have great top-end speed. But he is pretty explosive from a quickness and burst perspective, and that does carry value. Oh, by the way, this is going to sound fake. It's not, I promise you. Alexander Mattison is younger than Ty Chandler. Yeah, the guy who's played 3 years in the NFL is younger than the rookie Minnesota just drafted. Mattison turned 24 on June 19th. Chandler turned 24 on May 12th. So the upside argument isn't really there. I would keep Mattison over Chandler if I had to choose pretty much every time. Now, if you want to keep your financial information and your identity safe online from hackers in the dark web, you guys got to use Aura. Their online and device security is top of the line. Get your free 14-day trial started over at aura.com/chatsports. That link will be in the comments section, and it will be in the description of today's video. Let's move now to the hype train around Jalen Nailor all of a sudden here, as Nailor has drawn some praise for his performance at OTAs in the camp from the voice of the Vikings, Paul Allen himself. 6th-round pick in this year's draft. He is fighting for a roster spot. Paul Allen was asked, hey, who was your surprise standout from the spring practices minicamp OTAs? His answer, quote, for me, it would be wide receiver Jalen Nailor. For me, or from where he was taken as deep in the draft and from what I saw at rookie camp and a bit of minicamp, man, Jalen's tough. He's going to make the team, and I think he's going to contribute. Despite not the best quarterback play for the Spartans of Michigan State, Jalen did offer some big playability, almost 19 yards per catch on only 37 of them, and that vertical role is one the Vikings are looking to fill. It could almost come down to Amir Smith-Marset or Jalen Nailor in that role. Osborne, I think, will play plenty of slot this year as receiver 3, quote-unquote. We'll see if B.C. Johnson can stay healthy. They were so decimated by injuries, they even brought in Albert Wilson, etc. Special teams, by the way, will come into a big role as well for those back end of the receiver roster spots, because that's how life works. If you're receiver 5 or 6 and even 4 for the most part, if you ain't helping on special teams, you're probably not going to make the team. So with that in mind, will Jalen Nailor make the roster? Y for yes or N for no? Make your way to early predictions for me right now in the comments section. Y for yes, he will. N for no, he will not. Bleacher Reports has gone through and named one move each NFL team should make before camp in the season, and their solution for the Vikings was finding competition at center to help contend with Garrett Bradbury. We'll talk more about Bradbury, but first the argument from Bleacher Report. Quote, instead of handing Bradbury the job for another year, the Vikings can sign a JC Tretter or create an open competition between the incumbent and backup Austin Schlottmann. Maybe the Vikings even consider moving this year's 59th overall pick, Ed Ingram, over the ball. Ingram played some center at this year's Senior Bowl. First up with JC, we talked about Tretter before, right? I'm down. I'm not getting my hopes up, though, but that's been a constant talking point here on Vikings Now. Bradbury is the incumbent, and he wasn't that great last year. He has not taken the step forward that I think everyone was hoping for. I loved him coming out and said I was going to be a great center, great stud, really great wide zone scheme. He fits this current regime and this new coaching staff, but he has been a disappointment. So I think the confidence level should be low, even though the other options are not great. More on that in a minute. But first, what is your confidence level in Garrett Bradbury as the center? Rate this for me 1 to 100. 1 on the low end, 100 on the high end. Sound off for me in the comments section. Now, Bradbury, in reality, folks, is going to win this job barring injury. There is not great depth behind him. We'll get to Ed Ingram, Austin Schlottmann. Chris Reed could maybe get some reps here at the center position as well, but I really would not get my hopes up in terms of having one of those players emerge and step up as a piece along the offensive line. The depth on this team, I think, is actually quite strong in terms of the options at guard, even maybe at tackle to a certain extent. But the depth at center, it doesn't really exist. The Vikings are banking on Bradbury being the piece for this team. They have not addressed the position at all. Schlottmann over his career has barely played. On almost half the snaps compared to Garrett Bradbury from last year, their numbers are almost identical in terms of sacks, hits, and hurries. The PFF run grade, by the way, also favors Bradbury. Schlottmann is a backup piece who I am frankly unconvinced even makes the roster. Schlottmann allowed 2 more hits and 1 fewer hurry on about half the snaps. That's not good. Reed, frankly, Chris Reed might be your best backup option there at center. As for Ed Ingram, I am keeping him at guard. He got run at center the Senior Bowl, doesn't mean anything. Every guard who goes to the Senior Bowl pretty much gets some reps at center, and in almost all cases, they're not good at it because it's a whole new thing for them, and teams don't often make that change unless it's very obvious and specific in the pre-draft process. He is a guard. That is where I'm keeping him in the end. Now, if you made it to the end of today's video, you guys are a real one. Thank you so much. Show it so I can give you some love in the comments too by typing in Skol for me right now.